what's going on today? I was spending a lot of time reading about this new camera. They said it was supposed to be a breakthrough, etc, etc. What is it? It's this Sony Alpha 8.1 mirrorless digital camera. And it says here, it has what, 50 megapixels full frame. What makes it such a breakthrough? Well, apparently it has a brand new sensor and all that. It says a 50 megapixel full frame Exmor BSI CMOS sensor. It seems like one of the biggest things they're saying, it says up to 30 frames per second shooting, ISO 50 to 102,400. So a lot of pictures and stuff, and it looks kind of crazy even by just looking at the image. You don't have to say anything. It just doesn't look real in some ways, if that makes sense, because it looks too sharp. And it does shoot 8K video as expected. I guess people have to do that in terms of standing out. For the 8K, they say it shoots at 30 frames per second, and you can shoot 120 frames per second at 4K. 5-axis steady shot image stabilization. Again, just looking at the quality, it seems kind of unreal. Although with that in mind, let's get back to reality. How much is this thing gonna cost? And apparently listed on some various sites, this one says in US, $6,498. So is anyone gonna plunker down for this camera? To my understanding, just from reading everything, it seems like with things like the Canon R5, people were saying it's a still camera first and video second, just because it overheats and stuff. That's what people say, like if you use it for a long time. This one, it seems like what they're aiming for is the end all of everything. They want it to be a crazy good photo camera and a crazy good video camera. Although they do say the video records about 30 minutes with its heating system and all that. So I don't know if that's necessarily extremely good for people filming long movies and all that. But I guess it's about the price. Can you swallow that if you intend to buy this? There apparently is supposed to be a ton more new camera announcements from even Sony and everyone else too. So you may want to just sit back and see what's coming out. And for the other stuff I read, it was kind of interesting related to COVID and stuff like that. Apparently it says in Ontario, it says Doug Ford wants mandatory COVID-19 tests for people coming to Canada. I know for tests, people would say, oh man, sticking that thing up your nose must be painful and all that, I guess depending on who's administrating it and all that. Well, how about if it's an anal test that's going to become standard? This one says Beijing test for COVID-19 using anal swabs where virus may survive longer. That's what the experts say. Beijing reported a 9-year-old boy tested positive for COVID-19 last week, and his school conducted a variety of tests, including serum antibody tests, nasal, throat, and even anal swabs for all its staff and students, prompting many to wonder if anal swabs could be more accurate in detecting the virus than other measures. And it is as they say. Can you imagine if this becomes the standard? Would this make people more weary of getting a test? Although if they say it's more accurate, that would be the way to go, I would assume, correct? And I was reading this about drones. As we all know, in the US, the FAA is introducing all that stuff like remote IDs, all that controversy of certain companies wanting to introduce things like drone taxes and all that. Well, I was just reading this one. It says, Drone Delivery Canada supports FAA regulatory advancements. And it says this company is pleased to express its support for the Federal Aviation Administration progressive actions in making amendments to advance the use of unmanned aircraft systems for logistics and small package delivery. Use of drones in this market segment is forecast and increased significantly, according to a report released by the FAA recently. I think that's actually a key point from this press release, because it says progressive actions in making amendments to advance the use of unmanned aircraft systems for logistics and small package deliveries. So it's mainly from their point of view of their company, if they do deliveries, and yes, great, it helps us. But then many people will argue all the majority of people, for example, the recreational people, they're completely ignored. And sure enough, even here, it's mostly big business that's actually excited, I guess you could say, about the changes. So will that change? Will the small guy actually get a voice? Which is the irony, because the small guy is the majority. So it makes you wonder, how is that even possible at this point where everyone's not speaking up? If they say, yeah, they want to be able to do this completely separated, commercial and all that, why isn't it happening? Just not enough, I guess, people willing to talk about it, I suppose? Although it says here they plan to try to get into the US market, this company, so go figure. Obviously they would say, we would support you, because I guess it would be kind of like a death wish. If you're saying, oh, I hate this, and they're like, oh, you hate this, huh? And you're trying to enter in this market. I guess as usual, money talks. the noisy guys are coming back now. We're gonna see more babies and stuff soon. Alright, see you guys later.